Hi friends, and welcome to your midweek video with It's a Carryful Life. I am going to do a casita tour with a new friend named John, and this is his casita. I'm going to let him tell you more about it. He's done a lot of cool modifications. So without further ado, let me introduce you to John.
My name's John. I'm a casita traveler, much like Carrie behind the camera. We've had this casita specifically for 3 years, I think, something like that. It is a 1999 model year. I'm unclear if it's the Spirit or the Independence, or help me out because we figured
I think
it out.
you said it was the Spirit Deluxe.
Okay,
you
it's
have
a
the
Spirit
permanent
Deluxe.
dinette.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're looking at the Spirit Deluxe.
A rear
yeah.
bed, side dinette, kitchen, and all the other fruit is kind of on the other side of the trailer. We have extensively modified our, because I'm weird and this is old, so it worked out. Anyway, we've extensively modified our casita. Well, you can probably see up there. We have a 180-degree batwing awning. Again, many of the modifications have been because because they were missing from the trailer when we got it. So many of the modifications we've done have simply been that it was missing a part. If we had the factory Fiamma awning on it, I never would have looked at it. However, if you too are missing an awning, you can put a couple pieces of old unistrut on those mounts and clamp whatever you want on there. So that's what I did. Awning is available on Amazon. It's not a huge deal. We put the Stromberg rack, which is not exactly groundbreaking, also available on Amazon. We put the electric jack on there. I just put a simple little tongue box up here. Obviously, I have a mount for my fire extinguisher. As you can tell, it's zip ties, so you need to be strong and motivated, which I would assume in the case of fire you would be.
Because when you're traveling forest roads, you
Yes.
actually need to have a shovel and a fire extinguisher, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I normally carry an axe, a shovel. Well, I have multiple fire extinguishers. I don't know how long you want this video, because we could go over here into the back of the 4Runner and we could talk about the power station, extra fire extinguisher, and all the other stuff, and camera batteries.
So you tow your casita with a 4Runner.
Yes, this is a 2022 TRD off-road.
Okay, and how does it tow?
It tows fine.
It's like a dream, right?
Yeah, all the high-speed highways, you run into in Idaho, Utah, places like that where the speed limit is 80 miles an hour. I don't go 80.
Right,
I go 65 to 75, kind of dependent on I try to drive with mechanical sympathy for the vehicle, meaning I'm not blowing the guts out of my car just to make sure I keep up with traffic. I'm not afraid to be that guy in the right lane, going a little bit slower.
Yeah.
But yeah, it tows fine. It drops down into third and fourth on the, it has a 5-speed automatic. So it drops down into third and fourth on some of the steeper grades, which, here in the West is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have mountains. I live on mountains. So
yeah,
it's, but no, going back to the trailer, we have several, this might be one of my most genius modifications right here. And I stole that from somebody on YouTube, which is to paint the front of your tow hitch white, so in the backup camera you can see when the ball goes underneath it. It makes me look like a rock star every time.
You hit the mark every time. Paint your tow hitch white. Who knew?
Again, I plagiarized that. That is not that's not an original from me.
That's awesome.
You can't really see it. I don't know if you're tall enough, but up there is 2 100-watt flexible Renogy solar panels. Maybe, yeah. And what do you feed your panels into? What batteries do you have? So I have a single 200 amp hour lithium battery. It is controlled by another Renogy product, a 30 amp DC to DC charger with an MPPT, try saying that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Charge controller. So the MPPT part of it is what controls the solar power, and the DC to DC charger is what allows my vehicle to charge the battery without overtaxing the electrical system in the vehicle.
Nice.
The battery, we've never had an issue. If you're a casita person, there is no inverter from the factory, so there is no extra draw on the battery. I basically can go indefinitely in this trailer. We have an idea of installing a different refrigerator, an electric refrigerator in the future. Potentially, we kind of go back and forth. And that's what the idea was with the battery.
Right.
That's kind of the electrical system in a nutshell. I installed a Oh, a real simple bulkhead that I obtained on Amazon to run the. I had to drill a hole in my casita. I know some people will be.
Some people are leery
shocked.
of that.
Yes,
for sure.
But they don't have a 25-year-old one.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the bulkhead that the wires feed through. Have had zero problems with that leaking. I've resealed several of the windows. I've also added these
Rain
rubber,
guards.
rubber gutters, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. How do you feel they work? We're thinking about doing this.
My windows don't leak to start with, so I don't know.
Okay.
I installed them right after I did have 2 window leaks.
Okay.
And I resealed the windows, and then as an added precaution, I added those, and it's kind of cheap insurance here in the Pacific North. I think in the Pacific Northwest they make sense, honestly.
Agreed.
And we're talking. Well, when we meet up later, I'll give you what I have left, and you can try it out because I have.
Well, I've heard that
twice the amount.
if you have these, you can actually utilize the window when it's lightly raining.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of one of my big pains with the casitas.
Right.
You can't open the windows when it's raining.
Correct. Yes. I hadn't thought about that, but it makes total sense. I am a tire snob, admittedly. So the worst thing on a trailer is to have a blowout.
Especially with a single axle.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, any axle, they're going to damage the wheel well. And that's the last, because I'm not a fiberglass guy, not a body fender guy. So what Dana and I did is we purchased brand new 15-inch wheels, and then I put BF Goodrich all-terrain KO2s. If you're in the off-roading world, you're familiar with what this tire is. It is a light truck tire. Does it tow as well as a regular trailer tire? I don't really know. I don't really care. What I do know is they don't go flat. They don't, given this use case, gravel roads, I'm not overlanding this thing. We're not taking on rock crawling missions. So I knew these would be a good tire. The only downside is the price.
Yeah.
I think we were about $800 for 3 new tires and 3 new wheels.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to have a spare.
Yeah.
And so
do you just carry the spare on your back of the casita?
Oh, yeah.
Is that where you carry it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's on the factory.
Yeah.
The factory, there is no tire mount on a casita.
Right.
It is a screw or it's a bolt through the fiberglass. It's
We've never had to use ours, thank the good Lord above.
No, there's no tire mount. It's just a bolt through the side of the trailer. So, I mean, it's not, it's kind of one size fits all.
Right.
We can go around the back side here where, and I kept the factory size tires. So the factory tire cover is still there. This is one of the windows that was leaking. I know this is heresy, so just bear with me, casita people. But I took the window out to put the new, and I've forgotten what the tape is, but there's a specific bonding tape that you put in between the window frame and the fiberglass. I redid that, but when I came back, I am not a pop rivet fan.
Okay. Yeah.
So, again, I know this is heresy. Just bear with me. Let me explain. This is a button head screw with a Torx opening, so it's easy to use, with a stainless steel washer, and the screw is actually a 632 screw. So to give you an idea in your mind, if you've ever taken like your switch plate off in your house, that's a 632 screw. We are not talking high dynamic load fasteners here.
Right.
This basically, in my opinion, probably has a very similar clamping force to what a pop rivet does. However, it's not going to break. It's stainless steel, and it's not going to crack out my fiberglass. And literally, you can't put enough torque on that little fitting there to, you'll strip it out before you put too much stuff in there. Up here, you can see my janky. What used to be the TV antenna up here is now the back support for the batwing awning.
I love it.
That may or may not be an old piece of water ski rope I have laying in the shop.
Hey, whatever works.
But anyway, like I said, the awning's out here in front. If you want to take a couple shots of that.
Yes.
The awning has been kind of a game changer. Again, Carrie, who's behind the camera, knows what I'm talking about. But the weather here in the Pacific Northwest, it's either too sunny and hot and you need shade, or it's raining cats and dogs. And like only somebody from the Pacific Northwest would understand it's raining.
Yeah.
And I think Carrie has the same setup, or at least according to John, has the same setup we do, which is we rarely cook inside our trailer.
Yeah.
Our camp kitchen's not set up right now, but normally all of the bulk of our dinner prep and stuff like that occurs outside the trailer.
Right.
Because if you've ever cooked in a small space, you don't want your trailer smelling like whatever last night's dinner
Yep.
was. And so we make coffee inside there,
Yep.
but primarily we cook out here, although it's not set up now. And this awning is just awesome for that. We didn't have the factory awning. We just had the mounts, and
Right.
that led to this awning, and a much longer conversation, but that led to this awning. So that's why we went this way. This is a very cost-effective solution. All of the parts I bought at Home Depot, the unistrut to fabricate the mount, and then it comes with the bolts and stuff like that. But the awning itself was on special. I think it was $700.
I think the bat wings are so cool.
Yeah.
At your mount,
Yeah.
how you did this.
It wouldn't be, like I said, any electricians in your audience or plumbers will recognize.
I don't know if I have any electricians or plumbers. If I do, leave
right
me a
up
comment.
here, those little groove things there that I'm pointing at are just unistrut, and I just painted it black with spray paint.
Okay. How does this withstand a wind? What have
Awesome.
you? Yeah.
Well as any awning.
Right.
Nothing's perfect.
Right.
If the wind is coming up, I use common sense.
Yeah.
If I'm we were in Quartzsite earlier this year, and it was up in probably 20 or 30 mile an hour wind, doing pretty well. The wind was coming from the other side of the trailer. However, I'm kind of a chicken heart when it comes to damaging things, so I jumped out and took it down.
Took it in, yeah.
And it really depends on how well you stake it out, because I do use these guy ropes. This awning is self-supporting, so I can take the legs up if I need to. But I normally...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Again,
These can, okay.
Yeah, no, it's a freestanding awning.
Oh, I didn't know that.
However, I don't normally run it that way. Again, that mechanical sympathy thing.
Right.
If I've got legs and guy ropes, I'm going to use
You're
them
gonna
just
use them,
just
yeah.
in case I have that gust of wind. But I think we can move inside. I know
Yeah.
I'm forgetting
I'm gonna just
things.
step back and get a full view of
Yeah.
this batwing awning, because I too just think this is the coolest thing. I love it. I love it. Okay, we're gonna head inside. So John is my new friend, and John, do you want to share with my viewers about your channel?
Absolutely. So Carrie and I live an hour apart. I've had a channel for about 4 years. It's called 143JKRD.
And I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what that is if you ever watch Mr. Rogers, it means I love you, and it's my wife and kids' initials. At my prior employer, I didn't want them kind of getting wind of the whole YouTube thing, so that's why I have a cryptic YouTube channel. I do have some casita content. I think I've got 20 or 30 videos ranging from tutorials on things I've fixed, repaired, modified, and just some camping and travel videos. There's a lot of other content on there dealing with off-road and some other stuff, which is kind of what I do aside from camping. But anyway, let's get back to the trailer.
Yes, yes.
This is our most recent addition. Your husband pointed it out.
Okay.
These little hooks here are awesome. Available at Camping World. You just need to modify the hook because they're
Okay.
the depth is wrong to clamp on our doors for casita people. But it, with a little bit of hacksawing and a little hammering, it fits right on there. And then we've got the other hooks over there.
Nice. Look at that. Super cute.
Many of the modifications done to this trailer, again, were because of missing and broken items. So over your right shoulder here, I have this cargo net. If you have a 2020 or 5th generation 4Runner, it came with one of these nets.
I love it.
I had a spare. I just put this extruded aluminum up, again, with the stainless steel hardware through the factory screw holes, and put the net up. Again, I don't recommend that you take your cabinet out. I didn't have a cabinet.
To begin with. Okay. So you came up with a solution of something that should have been there that wasn't there.
Correct. Like mini mods.
Does this model, this is a Spirit Deluxe, does this model have cabinets that go over the dinette?
Yes.
Okay.
Or this one did.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
I bought a bunch of these, I think a 5 or 6 pack of these LED lights off Amazon.
Yes, so these are really nice.
Yes, they're very bright.
They are very bright. Yeah.
Again, I didn't have the lights. I had the wires coiled up for a year or two in the corner. So I reinstalled these lights. What else have I done? The big battery is here. I don't want to damage my wife's iPad and phone.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Under this dinette, we've got, this is my battery and wiring.
Okay.
And that's all fused. So basically, if you're going to fuse a DC circuit, you want to do it as close to the source where it's going to burn out the easiest, right?
Right.
You want to make it as easy so you don't burn your trailer down. I'm not giving you advice. I'm telling you what I did.
That's the goal.
Yes.
We don't want to burn our trailers down.
And then down on this panel is my DC to DC charger with the MPPT charge controller.
Okay.
And then this is the wire from the roof up here in my cabinet that should have an end. Anyway, those are the wires. I just poked a hole here in the carpet, and I just used a very simple fish tape.
Okay.
And fished them down the wall, kind of between, where it's glued down. As you can see, I don't have a bulkhead here. For all you Casita people on Facebook asking if that bulkhead is structural, trust me, I took mine out. It's made of particle board. It's not supporting anything, even in the newer models. So we took the bulkhead out, which is, I like the open concept.
I was going to say, I really feel like it creates a more open space.
It does.
Because honestly, what kind of privacy is that giving you? I mean,
none.
None.
It's more of a pain to get up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, Dana and I sleep here.
And this is a full-size mattress.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of mattress do you have on your bed?
We have an IKEA mattress.
Okay.
That was a memory foam full-size mattress that I then cut.
We
cut
did the
mattress.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
cut the corners off.
Did the same thing.
These are residential blinds, blackout blinds that we got at Home Depot. And
Okay.
so they clip down here. I have a washer, double-sided tape to the back of that, like a fender washer.
Okay.
And then I have a magnet, which is just
look
like
at that. So smart. Okay.
And then it just clips down there.
So when the
And
trailer's moving, you always come into your blinds being where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, we normally travel with them up. The other nice thing about these blinds is
you can
go up and down.
Oh, I love that.
And again, this was one of those modifications that had we had blinds when we got the trailer, we probably wouldn't ask any questions. However, it just is what it is.
Were they pretty easy to mount? Did you have any issues?
No. I just screwed through the top. I don't know if you can see it here. Yeah, there's screws there. They're just screws up into the bottom of the fiberglass here.
Okay.
No, they were real easy to mount. They're expensive for what you get. I'm not in the blind world, so I was not prepared for the almost $400 it cost us to
for the whole trailer.
Yeah, to have all these cut. But we needed blinds.
Yeah.
And so we
And you guys travel a lot.
We do. We've traveled most of last year and most of this year.
And you're just coming off a 2-week trip, right?
Yes, this weekend. Yeah, it'll be about a week and a half on this trip. But yeah, we're traveling almost full time. I'm not one of these van life people. We still have a house, but we are on the road a lot.
Yeah.
We spent the whole winter in Southern California, sleeping at friends and family's house, but we took the trailer out on plenty of adventures. We saw 7 national parks last summer. And I think we've been to 6 or 7 this year already. And it's only, April?
Yeah, only April.
I don't know what day
we're almost to May. Here in the PNW, we like the month of May because we're getting into some warm weather.
Yes.
What has been your favorite national park that you've visited?
That's really tough. I could probably do a top 3. Yellowstone's probably at the top at this point.
Pretty epic.
What's the one you guys went to in Montana? We haven't
Glacier.
We haven't been to Glacier
Gotta go
yet.
to Glacier.
But probably Yellowstone. Arches would be good. And then actually we stayed at a national monument. I know this is a little aside, called Hovenweep. It's about an hour from Mesa Verde National Park.
Oh, okay.
That was probably one of my favorite, outside of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Was one of my favorite spots. Because much like Mesa Verde, there's native structures there. Like if you've ever seen a postcard of a Mesa Verde, it's always got a big pueblo, cliff dwelling type thing. You can camp in and among those at Hovenweep. Like you walked out of our camp on a little 1-mile trail and it's just all these native structures and stuff. And
so
it was
fun.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. Probably one of my favorite places to camp in this trip it's called Islands in the Sky, and it's right near Arches. It's eluding me. It's the other national park. Is it Canyonlands? I think it's Canyonlands.
Okay.
Which, not on the Needle side, but there's 4 different. It's one of those national parks that there's 4 distinct areas that are separated by non-national park. Anyway, Islands of the Sky was wonderful.
Okay.
That campground for a national park campground was awesome because you could walk out of, again, I like walking out of camp and seeing cool stuff.
Right. And
You
the
know, not
Casita
very-
did great, right?
Yes, the
Yeah.
casitas are probably one of the best RV solutions that I've seen for specifically national park travel due to their size.
Yeah.
Because they're maneuverable. You can back them into spots. If you're uncomfortable backing a trailer, a casita is really easy to back up in comparison to other stuff.
Not for me. I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, it just takes practice,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Like we were
Yeah.
talking about. What else have I done in here? We took the hood out. So Carrie, you'll
Oh,
like this. So,
yeah.
so obviously over the stove on a casita, my wife Dana's 5'3", so she's not like us tall, right? Well,
Yeah.
I'm joking because you're taller than I
Well,
am.
I'm 5'11". You're
Yeah.
what, about 5'10"?
5'8.5", maybe 5'9" in the right
well, then
shoes.
I've really... oh, you don't have a mirror. I was going to say, then I've really shrunk.
There's no mirrors in here. Let's get that straight.
I'm thinking about taking mine out, too.
So if you ever do use the stove, if you're over 5 feet tall, it protrudes about
Totally,
this
yeah.
far and it hangs down here. And so you can't really see the stove. And we don't cook in here.
Yeah.
Primarily we cook outside. So what I did is I took the hood out and then I painted up a piece of aluminum to resemble copper and covered the big jagged hole.
Oh, very cool.
Anyway, it's probably not going to photograph that, frankly, but it looks better in person, I promise.
It does. It looks very like it's meant
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
art piece almost.
Yeah, so anyway, I had copper spray paint in my shop. So
Yeah.
a lot of things get painted in my shop with whatever I happen to have at hand.
I love it.
So anyway.
Now, is your shop a place that projects go to die?
No.
I'm just joking.
We're standing in my main project. Come on, Carrie.
I'm joking.
No, all my projects
John.
run and drive. And she's talking about a conversation we had off
Yeah,
camera. In
yeah, yeah,
fairness
yeah.
to me, no, my
Yes.
projects are on the way.
No, I'm actually jealous. I think me and John would both love to have a shop just to
Yes,
do fun
yeah.
stuff in.
But no, all this stuff, I kind of, you're standing in the middle of my main project and we've
Yeah.
been using it for, gosh, this is our second year, like 4 months into our second year.
And
of camping
honestly,
in
it's
it a
very
ton.
comfortable in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you
It's
have a propane stove, a propane heater.
a furnace, we do.
Furnace, yeah.
This is new because one of the prior owners, Carrie and I have talked about this, but I don't know how many people owned this trailer. Somebody had gotten rid of this. The cool thing about Casita is they have old stuff from 30 years ago or 25
Oh, really?
years.
Okay.
Yeah, my Dana ordered this from Casita and I just reinstalled it.
Okay.
You can see other people's attempts at doing stuff. Just got all these
Yeah.
random holes.
So the trailer is very comfortable. I love your fridge. It's very colorful. And this fridge is the age of the trailer.
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
said it has been amazing.
Amazing is a strong word. It's been functional.
Okay.
It performs like it's supposed to. The cool thing about this fridge that many of your viewers aren't going to have is if you look at the controls, there's no computer stuff to go wrong. You manually switch from gas to DC to AC power.
You're right.
You manually light it. You have to hold this button down and press this deal to actually light it. And then the thermostat's over here.
Thermostat, yeah.
So all of that is manually controlled, which I honestly see as an advantage. And if this went out and I could buy the exact same fridge with these manual controls,
Okay.
I would be doing that probably.
Okay.
Barring that, I think we're going to go electric.
Okay.
And I haven't made up my mind if we're going to go 12-volt DC electric, which is expensive and may not have a huge power benefit versus buying something from a big box store, which
Okay.
would be a 120 volt, and just
Sure.
installing an inverter. And
Yeah.
as we've mentioned multiple times, I've got
Yeah.
a massive battery in this thing. The battery is probably 8 times what a Casita comes with.
Yeah. Which is awesome because
Yeah.
it's great for
Yeah.
boondocking. And then your AC, this is a this year trailer, the ACs were down there. What are your thoughts on that?
It's super cool because if it breaks, you can go to any Home Depot or Walmart on the
And just
planet
replace
and
it.
just buy a new one.
Yeah.
How effective it is, I don't think it's as good as an RV one.
Well, its location, you're hitting a wall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's when I can imagine when you're in bed, it's probably not very.
Well, basically where you're sitting, this corner of the dinette, we have a fan that
Oh,
we put there
okay.
to kind of blow back
The cool
cold
air.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's no, it's not well located at all versus, what normally should be here, which
Right.
would be a roof AC.
Right, right.
We have the AC, but it's the way the trailer came.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
totally. It
I
is
didn't
nice so
find
that
my-
your Mac stand's right above your bed. That is something in our van. Our Mac stand is right above our
and
bed.
it can blow down on you.
And
Yeah.
it's perfect. Yeah.
Well, if you're, a lot of our camping has been in the desert. In case your viewers don't know, 2/3 of Oregon's desert. It's
Yeah.
not all rainforest.
Yeah.
So at night, the temperatures drop enough so that if
It
it's
cools off.
If it's an 80 or 90 degree day out, it'll drop 20 or 30 degrees. And typically we're dry camping. And so we don't have power, which
Right.
makes the whole air conditioner thing irrelevant because no casita on the planet
Yeah.
other than hers is powered off the grid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm joking.
And
'cause-
no, they know why mine's powered off the grid
Yeah.
because of John's truck.
Yeah,
Yes.
John's truck is pretty dope. I got to tell you that whole hybrid thing is badass.
Yeah.
However, we don't have one of those, so we
Right.
have windows and a fan.
Yeah. Very cool.
But yeah, no, I appreciate it, Carrie. Thank you for
Yeah.
letting me drone on about all
Oh,
this stuff.
totally. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on your midweek video. I hope you guys are all having a really great week. I promise, will see John again, and you'll probably see this casita again. Thank you so much. This was
Thank
a
you,
great
Carrie.
experience.
We've known each other for 15 minutes, and here we are.
I feel like he's a brother from another mother. I don't know what's happening right now. This is
Yeah.
just very cool. So, yeah, very happy you guys are here, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace out.
For sure, we're recording. Whoops.
3, 2, 1.